Hello, welcome to the weekly wind-up with myself, Emma Kirke. Today I'm joined by Tom Kaye. He's here to share his story and tell us a little bit about getting back on the rugby pitch with Team Colostomy UK and how that has given him a new positive lease of life. Welcome to the show, Tom.
Thank you.
So can you start by telling me a little bit about your journey and your background?
Played a hell of a lot of rugby when I was younger. Come from a rugby family. They stopped playing due to my conditions. Had a lot of operations, surgeries, and stopped playing completely. Sort of went through some dark patches, and I've had some surgery since I was like 11, all the way through to 16, and surgeries ever since. And when I was last year, I went and saw PDRL United were having a game with Team Colostomy, and my sort of missus sort of pushed me into it, and it's all stemmed from there with Team Colostomy. So,
how old were you when you started having symptoms?
Around, my mum said about when I was a baby. Said I had toddler's diarrhea, but I had it pretty much started when I was about 9.
Okay.
Most of it. So, and it's all I've had it since then. So.
What did you notice?
One of my early memories was being sick loads, just from when I used to eat food, etc. I used to just vomit everything, and my mum sort of took me to the doctors, and they took me to hospital for a test, and biopsies and stuff, and it all turned out I had colitis, etc. So. Okay.
So you were quite young when you were diagnosed?
Really young, yeah.
Did you know anyone else that
No.
had anything like this?
No, not at all. I remember being in children's wards, but they were general children's wards. There were people with cystic fibrosis and all sorts on there, so I never really went around talking to people about it. So, and when I went to hospital appointments, they weren't really. You don't really like chat with the kids there, so
yeah.
And things like that. So yeah, I didn't really. I got offered the chance to talk to people, but I was sort of quite in my shell, so I didn't talk to anybody. I sort of kept myself to myself, and didn't go sort of seek help or support and from anywhere really.
Did you have anyone in the family that had anything like that you could talk to? No.
I sort of stripped back. I made I think teenage years are always quite difficult due to what happens to the body, but yeah, I didn't. I sort of took it quite badly, and sort of stripped back into my shell, and were quite a difficult person to be around. Took myself into some bad places, so yeah, I didn't sort of handle my life how I shouldn't have handled it really.
Do you think that's because you didn't know how to handle it, or do you think there wasn't perhaps the advice of how to get you through it?
A bit of both, and I felt it stopped me doing everything what I wanted to do in life, instead of like where there's support available now, and no one ever said to me, you can still do this, you can still do that. I was told you can't do this, you can't do that, and life was difficult, so I never sort of pushed myself. I just sort of struggled. So yeah, no one sort of pushed me and said, oh well, why don't you try this, or why don't you try that, and yeah, it was a bit of a tough time.
I mean, like you said, it's tough being a teenager anyway, and then you had this on top to deal with. What was it like at school for you?
Terrible, I won't lie, terrible. I used to have passes for staff toilets, and then I always had difficulty with teachers when I was in staff toilets. Obviously, it's not somewhere you expect a pupil to be. I used to have. I even got to the point where I left school. I was supposed to be in sixth form. I was in class, and I went out a couple of times and asked to go out again, and she said no, and she refused to let me leave the room. So I walked out, got in trouble for it, and my head of year understood my problems. He always knew it, 'cause he was at school from when I first started high school, but the headmaster was relatively new, and I said, being quite a proud person, I said, I ain't coming back till I get an apology off her, and she never apologised, so
you never went back?
I never went back, yeah. So, so yeah, I'm stubborn. I'm quite a proud person, but it's good and its bad side. So
Obviously that was quite a traumatic event,
Yeah.
emotionally. How did you get yourself to a point where you thought, you know what, I'm going to do all of those things that I was told I couldn't?
Sort of from naturally growing up. I was quite... It sort of changed when I was like 17, 18. I realised I had to sort of get on with it. And I grew up quite quickly with all of my stuff, because I think with keeping myself to myself, you sort of grow up a bit quicker than what you should. You don't sort of go out and goof around with your friends and stuff like that. So yeah, I think I sort of then, as I've got older, I've got more and more helpful, and I think sort of what is my niche and helps me be a better person is just helping people. I found, and I've sort of, my goal is, as I spoke to you before, is sort of leave a positive footprint and not let anyone get into the same situation as I did, because it was completely wrong path I went down, and I've sort of missed some of my best years in my life, really.
And I think that's what you told me why you got involved with Colostomy UK, wasn't it? So you could help other people. I
initially signed up for the game, and ever since then I've sort of helped out where I can and push what I can, and it's a good charity, and it's obviously close to my heart with my circumstances. So, and there's a young kid today I saw on Twitter, the mascot for the game. We've got a couple of games coming up, and like little kids like that, what an absolute great kid. Yeah. I thought he's not letting out stop him, and if I can do anything to stop little people like that, or anyone a bit older, just, I think advice goes, kindness costs nothing, as they say. So little things like that, it helps me and makes me feel like a great person. So.
And like you said, actually, you know, that little kid has got you guys as role models.
Yeah.
Whereas you didn't have that. It's
important to show people who might have things like what I have at a young age, that nothing's impossible. If there's some stuff you might struggle at, but at least have a go and test what you can physically do and mentally do, and go out there and achieve something. It doesn't stop you.
So the Team Colostomy UK have some matches coming up, you said?
The 20th of April.
Are you featuring in that?
I am, yeah. I'm gonna go down, yeah. So go down to Gillingham, Medway Dragons. We're gonna play there, and on the 1st of June, we're playing Chorley Panthers as well. So it's I think there's some games lined up later on in the year, but yeah, it's quite a busy time of year. So. And I've enjoyed putting my boots back on as well.
I was going to say, what is it like? Considering you thought you weren't going to be able to play?
I used to play other sports, but I really did enjoy. Got me rugby. I was quite vocal and loud on pitch when I played at Featherstone, the PDRL, and I really enjoy rugby. And it came, to be fair, I hadn't played for 14 years before then. And it came back quite naturally. So, and I've got involved in other things, like the PDRL, which you know about. So it felt really good. So I just like to niche my skills again and get used to what I used to do. So it's going to be really good. I'm really looking forward to it. And you're actually doing a little bit of coaching as well. It's Leeds, isn't it? Yeah, I think we've helped. I think got involved with Dan Roberts and Tommy Pouncey. I think just helping little bits what we can teach other lads at PDRL. Things can go a long way, so I've really enjoyed that part of it, because they I think I spoke to you before, like they're real good people, because some of them have got a lot worse than myself, and they still go out there and have a crack. So, and that's probably the best thing. So yeah, and little bits of advice where they might not have had the coaching, etc., when they're younger, and go a long way with them. So yeah, it's real good.
So what about your book?
It's about 50 pages in. It's a bit of a muddle, so I've just started writing notes down where I can, and when stuff comes into my head, I sort of jot it down where I can on my phone, on a piece of paper. So there's I think I've got about 6 or 8 subjects written down, little things. What kind of
things are you going to cover in it?
It's literally, what I'm trying to cover in it is sort of mental health, all my life experiences and what you shouldn't do, and how you can help yourself. And I've approached other people who I know have had difficult with mental health, not just my circumstances, but get other people's approaches on it, and because it's not just one approach, isn't just the best way forward. Other things work for other people, so if I think where I can, and I know people who have had similar circumstances to myself, it's good to show their side of a story as well, and it'll have a general approach to mental health and how I've dealt with my condition, and if that one book helps out one person, it's worth writing in it. So
even if it is on lots of scraps of paper all over.
On scraps of paper all over shop. Yeah, so it's absolute. It's, to be fair, it's come naturally. I thought it would be tough, but when one Sunday, I think in January, I ended up getting about 20 pages down. I just had a spark in my head, and some bits are a bit more difficult, and it comes together. But yeah, I think it's been easier than what I thought it would be anyway. So.
Have you done any writing before?
Never.
Really?
Ever. I used to.
Other than a text message.
I used to do a lot of drawing when I was in hospital and stuff. I used to draw quite a lot, but no, never any form of writing like that. So
is this going to be an illustrated book?
There's going to be no pictures, no colouring, even though my lad might like that. But no, it's jamming together. Probably need a bit of rework somewhere with my Yorkshire lingo, and but no, it's coming together quite naturally. Better than what I thought. Yeah.
Good. And is this something that you're hoping that your kids can follow as well?
I've always said, and I think my partner sort of tells me off a little bit, to slow down a little bit. But if there's one thing I always want my kids to know is not to treat me like a poorly person. I'll do what I can for them. Like our lad loves the lift up steps. He calls it, can I get on the lion, Dad? Can I get on the lion? And I give him, he gets on my back and I go up steps. And even if I'm struggling, I'll crawl on my hands and knees to get up steps, because they should never know I struggle. And I think it's about putting out a positive message that, oh, Daddy's struggling, I can't go. I think but yeah, the kids love it. So
you do have days, obviously, that are not so good, and some that are brilliant, I guess.
It's quite weird, because I think this is like where things like Giovanni mentions with a colostomy. You can eat at 6 o'clock. Like one of the things, I was in hospital about 3 weeks ago. Rushed in on ambulance. I ate at 6 o'clock, and I was in the ambulance at 2. I didn't eat anything untowards. I just had a blockage, and I rolled up in a ball on the sofa, and then my partner came downstairs. Do you think we should ring ambulance now? And I said, yeah, probably, yeah, best. And it's such a difficult condition to manage. And it's like tablets wise, you can't take tablets because you don't know how you're going to be in the morning. So it's difficult to manage. But
you seem to be doing quite a good job of it, and you're a great ambassador.
It's one of those things where I try my best, and I think you've got to. The first time you use your illness as an excuse is where you lose a little bit of respect. I think you should, what you can do, and I think people will understand who know you're in a close round you, your boundaries, and when you sort of should be slowing down. But no, I think you should never ever not try something because of your condition. If I'd have stopped and not played football or rugby because the doctor says you shouldn't be doing that, you won't be. It accounts for everybody.
And I think that's what I've noticed with Colostomy UK, and they're always promoting like the swimming and the running and all sorts of different activities, and get involved if you want to give it a go. Give it a go.
You don't know, your body don't know its limits until you test it. It's everybody in life knows that.
So if there's somebody watching who wants to try one of the sports that you're doing or you're involved with, how do they go about doing that?
Team Colostomy UK. They've got Twitter. They've also Colostomy UK. So it's just have a look it out and don't feel like you can't do anything. It's physical. There's something out there you must love or want to do, and seek support, and you can do it. The Team Colostomy UK are cracking. They've got so many different stuff going on, and little things like where someone might not want to play rugby, but they'll do the swimming classes. So if they're a bit reserved in the confidence, they have the closed sessions at swimming pools and things like that, where it goes a long way in keeping your mental health in check. Because if you tuck yourself inside, that's where you go to bad places, and it's really important to socialise and get out and meet other people where you can.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for coming in to chat. Like I said, you're a great ambassador,
and I'm sure lots of people will take a lot from today.
I hope they do. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for watching. If you wish to contact us about this or any other topic, our details are on the screen. I'm Emma Kirke. Goodbye for now.